Hello YouTube, today's going to be a quick video on the Mazda 3. We're going to attempt to adjust the front camber and caster angle on the stock end plates for the struts. Not sure how much adjustability I'm going to be able to get out of these, if any at all, but I'm going to try to get as much as I can. Reason being is because I autocrossed this car. And what I found last season was the outer edge of my tire was wearing out quite a bit faster than the inner edge of my tire. Now this is a new set of tires that I just got. This is the General G-Max AS07. This is the new version of the AS05. And what I found was on my previous set of tires was that the outside would wear out quite a bit more than the inside. So the inside tire, I would have quite a bit of tread left on them compared to the inner edge of the tire. And I ended up having to replace the previous set of tires because the outer edge would not pass inspection, but the inner edge would. So there's quite a bit of a difference. And so I'm going to try and get as much negative camber angle as I can. If not, then the next possible mod will be adjustable end plates for the strut, so I can adjust my negative camber.
And in case you are wondering, there is no way to put on adjustable camber bolts on the steering knuckle for the Mazda 3. Reason being is just because the design of the strut mount. As you can see here, that bolt basically just clamps onto the end of the shock. And so there's no way you could put a camber end plate on it and have that adjustable. So the only way to be able to adjust camber outside of the stock, the adjustability that the stock end plate would provide, if it provides any at all, would be to get adjustable end plates for the top of the strut.
And because I'm preparing this car for an autocross event next weekend, at the end of the video, I'm also going to be adjusting the rear sway bar from the softer setting to the stiffer setting. I found this last season to be a great setup for autocross. If you haven't watched my video on the rear adjustable sway bar that I put on this car last year, go ahead and give that video a watch. So what I'm going to be doing here to figure out if there's any adjustable front camber or caster is that I'm going to be loosening up the strut tower bolts with a 14mm. The idea here is to loosen the bolt just to be able to move the strut tower, not completely take them off. And also what I have personally done to make the adjustability easier is that I have gotten the car off the ground on jack stands, and then what I have here to prevent the shock from basically completely falling out is that I have wedged in my ramp here in between the tire. This is going to make adjustability easier by taking off a lot of the weight from the car, but it's also going this is the ramp, sorry, is going to prevent the shock from basically just falling out. So this is going to help minimize the amount of load, and it's going to allow me to make adjustments easier. Okay, so as it turns out, the front camber and caster angle are adjustable. Just let me give you a demonstration. So after loosening the bolts, I can pull it out like towards the outside of the car, and that's going to give me more positive camber, and then I can push it in and it'll give me some more negative camber. And this is what it looks like to adjust the caster angle. So as you can see, caster and camber adjustments are possible. I'm going to say that overall you're going to get about 2 degrees of adjustability between camber and caster, positive and negative. Because I'm looking for the most camber possible, I went ahead and I just adjusted the camber all the way over. So I would say that I should have a good -2 degrees, if not maybe a little bit more than that, of negative camber up front when all said and done. I did not adjust the caster angle because that's not too much of a concern for me. The only minor thing that I noticed when adjusting the camber is that it seems like when I do adjust the camber towards the negative, I did notice that it looks like I got some toe in as well. But in order to confirm that, I'm going to have to test drive the car after I make the adjustment. Let's go ahead and adjust the other side and then take this thing out for a test drive. All right, so now that the camber is all adjusted, it's now time to take this thing for a test drive. If you want to be as sure as possible as to whether or not both sides match up in terms of the camber and caster alignment, what you can do is you can take a measuring tool like a ruler and measure the distance between the center of this bolt and measure it out to the edge of the hole of the strut tower. You can measure it from here to here for the caster and measure from here to here for the camber, or vice versa. All right, so I just came back from my test drive and I came to realize that the car is pulling slightly towards the right, and I'm afraid that it seems like the toe angle on the right side wheel is off a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust the toe angle on this wheel because it looks like this wheel is towed out a little bit more than the left side is, and that's probably why it's pulling towards the right. To adjust the toe angle on the Mazda 3, you first got to loosen that nut counterclockwise, and then you twist this bar right here. This is part of the steering rack. You can turn it counter or counterclockwise based off if you need to tow in or out. So if you need to tow in, it's counterclockwise. If you need to tow out, it's clockwise. All right, so after lots of trial and error, I did manage to get the car driving straight again. With some extra camber up in the front, and after I stiffen up the rear sway bar, the Mazda 3 is ready for another season of autocross. With the sway bar now adjusted, the car is now officially ready. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and give it a like. And if you want more Mazda 3 content, make sure to subscribe.